Apparently, hiding in the bushes is no longer enough for Old Spicy. Sean Spicer has resigned from the Trump administration. Reportedly, Sean Spicer resigned because he disagreed with one of Donald Trump's decisions. It wasn't Trump's blatant First Amendment violation in the form of banning countless Muslims from entering the U.S. It wasn't Trump's weird sexual harassment or other innumerable social blunders that have embarrassed the administration and the country. It wasn't failing to acknowledge Pride Month or say anything about the LGBTQ crisis in Chechnya. It wasn't promoting a culture of racism and xenophobia. It wasn't even over the increasingly real possibility that Trump and an alarming portion of his family and his team broke the law in their communications with Russia, a hostile foreign power, in order to sway the 2016 election. Nor was it Steve Bannon saying that Sean Spicer was too fat to allow cameras at the press briefings to excuse the White House's obstruction of the press. No, apparently Sean Spicer resigned because he disagreed with the appointment of New York financier Anthony Scaramucci as White House communications director. Everybody's got a line that they won't cross, and somehow, Spicy's limit is Scaramucci's appointment. Sean Spicer apparently insisted that Scaramucci's appointment was a huge mistake. Trump, in the meantime, apparently asked Spicer to stay on, but Spicer was reportedly not willing to do so. Anthony Scaramucci is Senior Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer at the U.S. Export-Import Bank. Scaramucci was originally going to be appointed in January, but his appointment was delayed, allegedly by an ethics committee review. Even though those aren't required prior to appointment. George Sifakis was appointed instead. Like so many of the people Trump has appointed, Scaramucci is very wealthy and doesn't think much of people who aren't rich. Scaramucci once referred to DC politicians who weren't wealthy as jackasses. Also, his name makes him sound like a supervillain, and not even one of the cool ones. Sean Spicer might be right, after a fashion, about Scaramucci's appointment being a mistake for the Trump administration. Anthony Scaramucci hasn't always seen eye to eye with Trump and his team. In a 2013 tweet, Scaramucci seems to express views that run directly counter to many of Trump's incoherent statements. Last year a true statesman at Mitt Romney said that Russia was a legitimate threat to our interests. Anyone questioning that now? We would be all kinds of interested in hearing what Scaramucci has to say about that now. But this administration's team has been full of contradictions and actions that run contrary to their stated beliefs. Trump himself can't seem to figure out exactly what he believes, as he'll make contradictory statements within the same interview. So, Scaramucci should fit right in. Sean Spicer may be stepping down, but he'll be forever remembered. Not just for having been a part of the Trump administration's carousel of deceit. Not just for aiding in a campaign of misinformation. Also not just for proudly waging a war against journalism. Not even for being famously described on social media as looking like the one guy in a zombie movie who's been bitten but hides it from the rest for as long as possible. No, honestly the most memorable thing about Sean Spicer will always be how Melissa McCarthy portrayed him on Saturday Night Live.